Welcome to lesson 3 of SSS Sharpening Systems materials. This can be a very long section, but you have to know your materials in order to do a good sharpening job. You have to understand the terminology, what the materials are for, how to use them, what to do with them. Probably first thing important here, which makes a big difference, is the oil you use. First rule of sharpening: never run a dry stone. I'm writing this down because it's very important for you to remember. Don't run a dry stone. You should always have your stones properly oiled and cleaned, and oiled when you're using them, oiled to clean them, and oiled put away. If you try to run a dry stone, you're going to clog your stones up. They're going to look really ugly. They'll stop working and you have to throw them away. They're going to grind out. This is a properly oiled stone. This is a coarse right here, kind of an ultra coarse Gatco stone. You can see it's always wet. It looks smooth across the top. Only has a little bit of a divot in it because I've used it several times. I always clean my stones off afterwards, re-oil them, leave them like that. If you don't oil your stones, the metal that you shave off is going to oxidize. It's going to react with the stone. It's going to bind into the stone. It's going to clog up all the little pores inside the stone, and pretty soon it won't sharpen anymore. It starts turning rusty, and it's just dragging metal across the metal on your knife, and it's not cutting. You want it to cut by getting the oil out. The purpose of the oil is to flush out all the metal filings. The second the metal filing is taken off of the edge of a knife, as soon as it's taken off the edge, it's encapsulated in the oil. It suspends away from the knife and away from the stone, and then you can wipe it off on a rag after that, which you see I do right here on one of my bases. The rag's dirty because when I clean a stone, I wipe it off, I re-oil it, and I put it back to use. The oil I use is not the 3-in-1 you see here. I just happen to use this container. Some people prefer to use another container, the original Gatco oil container, whatever you want to use. I like this one because it has a small head on it. It's easy to just put out a few drops if I need. I keep it refilled, which is easy to do. And the oil that I'm using for that is this, real cheap and simple. A pint bottle of heavy mineral oil, USP if you like. $1.98 at your local retail store, some more at expensive drugstore. 16 ounces or a pint will last you a very long time. Feel free to be liberal with it. If you get it on your hands, no problem. It keeps your hands nice and moist. It won't burn if you get it in a cut. It has no petroleum distillates like some oils, which are really bad for you. And you will get in cuts and you will get scratches, as you can see doing this. Get you a pint of heavy mineral oil. It works fine. Some oils are too thin. They don't quite work. They can't float away the metal filings. They can't condition your stones right. Heavy mineral oil. What I've been using, a lot of professionals and masters just use regular heavy mineral oil, 16-ounce bottle, and I do thousands of knives with it. This will last me about a year, which is really cheap. Take this, pour it in your old 3-in-1 bottle, and you're good on oil. Not a problem at all. Again, have to stress, never run a dry stone. Use lots of oil. Too much will just drip out, but not in which you can clean up easily. Not enough oil is going to ruin your stones. It's going to ruin your knife job. Ruin your whole set. You don't want to do that. Always use, good heavy mineral oil. It's easy to clean up, non-toxic. You can drink it if you have constipation, whatever. Don't need to do that, but I just put mine in a small bottle. If you have another bottle you want to use, just make sure it's something with a cap on it, because when you have your kit going, you'll be dripping, making a mess with it. So I just wipe it off on a local towel or something. That's about it for oil, which is number 1 at the top. Very, very important stuff. Keep in mind, always use oil, never run a dry stone. We'll move on to the next step of part 3, which is stones and material.